Many Western corporations provide prayer rooms, yet so many Muslims don't use them. Not because they don't want to, but because they can't. Prayer requires wudu first, an ablution, washing of hands, face, arms and feet. And the office bathroom, sometimes with really small sinks, no privacy, are not designed for someone to wipe or wash their feet. What I did for years was balance at the sink on my shoes after I'd removed my socks, hoping nobody walks in, until somebody did. On one occasion, my boss walked into the bathroom while I was performing wudu, balancing on my shoes after removing my socks, water everywhere, as it does. "Having a wash," he said, with a smile on his face. And in that moment, I was afraid for my reputation. Would he think less of me or think I'm weird? Was my career at risk? Would I be excluded from promotion opportunities? Companies build a destination, they forget the pathway. I'm Sajjad Najafi. I spent over 25 years in corporate IT, rising to head of IT operations and a FTSE 250 company, building teams and working with colleagues from around the world. And for many years, I hid my prayers at work. In the next 8 minutes, I'll show you exactly why this keeps happening and the steps you can take to change it. Share this with your HR team. It'll explain what they're missing better than you ever could. Here's what nobody talks about. More than half of the Muslim professionals I've spoken with through LinkedIn, my coaching practice, and my community don't mention their faith at work at all. They leave their Islamic identity at the office door. At home, they're Muslim. At work, they're invisible. This causes a lot of internal conflict. I was one of them. I ate lunch on my desk on my own. Not because I wanted to, but because I spent my lunch break looking for places to pray, performing wudu. For years, in early part of my career, I used to go to another office to pray. I missed Jummah, Friday prayers, because I had meetings I couldn't decline or move. I used to look for empty meeting rooms where I could pray, wondering who might see me or whether I'd be judged. The uncomfortable truth I had to face was that part of this was on me. I was so afraid of being that Muslim at work that I made myself invisible, and invisible people don't get accommodated or considered. They're not counted. Employers can't fix problems they don't know exist. This is what I learned. When you explain what you're doing and why, most people want to understand. They want to support you. That moment when my boss walked into the office bathroom, after I explained wudu, he wasn't hostile. He was curious, in fact. That awkwardness wasn't about his judgment. It was about my fear. When I finally stopped hiding, when I started explaining instead of avoiding, something shifted. Not just in my schedule, but in my core. The constant mental calculation stopped. The exhaustion lifted. It took me years to get there. It doesn't have to take you that long. The first step is understanding why the accommodation keeps failing. Let me show you what I call the wudu gap. Employers want to be inclusive. They research, they consult, they build a beautiful prayer room, announcement goes out, they've ticked a box. But here's the sequence they missed. When Muslims need to pray, they must perform wudu. In order to perform wudu, they need suitable facilities. Then they can go and pray in the prayer room. Most employers jump from step 1 to step 4. They skip the pathway entirely. And there's a specific problem for Muslim women that's completely overlooked. In order for women to perform wudu, they have to remove their headscarf, the hijab, their socks, their shoes. The shared bathroom doesn't provide this privacy, so the prayer room sits empty, not because women don't want to pray, but because they literally can't. Now, why don't employers know this? Because we haven't told them. When your company asked about religious accommodations, if they did, Did you explain that prayer requires washing, wudu? Did you describe what wudu actually is? Did you mention the privacy requirements? Most of us stay silent because we don't want to be difficult. We fear being seen as demanding, or somewhere deep down we're worried it might affect our career opportunities and promotions. I get it, I lived it, but here's what changed my perspective. Employers aren't malicious, they're just uninformed. The HR person who approved that prayer room, they genuinely thought they'd solved a problem for Muslims. They're not trying to exclude Muslims, they just don't know what they don't know. The ideal fix, a wet room or a shower facility in an accessible toilet. Somewhere private with proper drainage where wudu can happen with dignity. Paper towels so you can wipe your face and hands when you finish. Because using a hand dryer isn't practical. Until that exists, there are practical solutions that help me manage those years of hiding. And someone has to start the conversation. I learnt this the hard way, and now I teach it. Becoming an unhidden Muslim or confidently Muslim isn't one dramatic conversation. It's not marching into HR and demanding a wudu facility tomorrow. That approach backfires. It's a process, and it starts with two parallel tracks: practical techniques and gradual visibility. Track 1, practical techniques. After that bathroom incident with my boss, I researched every way I could explain things better and find ways to save me time and anxiety and embarrassment at work. I took a portable bidet to work with me. It's available on Amazon in case I need to use the bathroom. It's discreet and effective. Check if there's a ruling in your madhab about wiping on top of your socks to save you time. I switched my shoes for slip-on ones so I don't have to deal with laces. I started taking hotels type slippers into the office so I could use my slippers in the bathroom rather than balancing on my shoes. These are quick tips. They're not perfect solutions, but they're a way to get you around the problem until the real accommodation exists. Track 2, gradual visibility. This is where the real transformation happens. What are you currently doing that's draining your energy? Write it down. Maybe it's eating at your desk on your own because lunch is spent performing wudu and praying. Maybe it's skipping Jummah. Maybe it's the bathroom balancing act. Be specific. This becomes your starting point. Second, find one ally. Doesn't have to be HR, not even your manager yet. Someone who already knows you're Muslim and has shown support or interest. A colleague who's asked about Ramadan with genuine curiosity. This person can become your sounding board before bigger conversations. Third, explain before you ask. This was my breakthrough. Before requesting anything, I started simply explaining. I pray during the day, just so you know. That's wudu, ritual washing before prayer. Friday prayers are important in my faith, if there's a mosque near you. When people understand what you're doing, they want to support you. The resistance we fear is usually just confusion. Small explanations build understanding. Understanding builds trust. Trust makes the bigger ask, like wudu facilities, possible. I made this journey from hiding and praying under stairwells to confidently requesting prayer rooms and wudu facilities and time off for Jummah. It took me years because I had no guidance. You don't have to figure it out alone. I've put together a free 5-day email series to help you start this journey. Each day, you'll get practical steps for moving from hiding your faith at work to practicing it openly without risking your career. The link is in the description. I've also built a community called Confidently Muslim on School. It's where Muslim professionals who've become unhidden support those on the journey. You'll hear from people who've had the HR conversation successfully, who've secured accommodations, who've stopped hiding. I believe every Muslim professional who becomes unhidden makes it easier for the next one. We're creating a visible paths where there was only isolated struggle. One day, Prayer rooms with proper wudu facilities will be as normal as meeting rooms. Muslims will leave for Jummah without apology. Success in faith won't feel like opposing forces. That future starts with you refusing to hide. I'm Sajjad Najafi, and I'll see you in the next one.